Hey there, this is Ragnon, and this is my walkthrough video for Sprocketmonger on Mythic difficulty from our kill tonight. Again, this is from a Resto Druid POV, so if there are things that happen from a DPS or a tank perspective, I might miss a lot of those. But so here at the beginning, we're starting in this. I like to start centrally. My first convoke timing was about 12 seconds into the fight, so I like to pre-ramp. I started off with an innervate, and I started pre-ramping at about, I don't know, 5 to 10 seconds before pull, and that way I've got as many hots out as possible. And then I would stand centrally right here so that I could see my assignment. I happened to get the lucky one, which is the first pop. So right here, finishing my ramp. And you want, if you get the first pop, you want to be standing in position. You can see I popped right away. And then you can see this bait drill. If you get that position, you can just go right here on the conveyor belt. I'm going to pause a lot because there is a lot to talk about with positioning in this fight. Regardless of which side you're on, you want to make sure that as a ranged player, you're always baiting drills until you get assigned one, and then you don't have to worry about it for the rest of that phase because there's a 90-second, I think it's 90-second debuff to where you can't get it again. So if you're on this side, I just bait drills here on this conveyor belt. On the other side, I bait it against the wall where the boss is spawning. Oops. And then here, I just go ahead and cheat, and I position right here next to these conveyor belts, these sideways conveyor belts, because this is the next positioning. I like to pre-position my F flow here and get as many regrowths as possible before this tranquility happens, while I have 12 abundance stacks. And tranquility, get another wild growth off here, and then immediately roar so we can move to our next position. Here, if I had not gotten drills, I typically run over here to the wall by the door, and I bait drills there, and then it overlaps. It happens during my next convoke ramp. So as I'm baiting the drills and as I'm running back to position, I'm finishing up my ramp. But here, since I had already had the drills, I know I can stand still. And you can see the liquid weak aura shows no drills. I don't have to worry about baiting the drills. If I had not had the drills yet, it would show that bait drills in 5 seconds, and I'd be going to a location where you're baiting. It's very important to make sure that you are baiting the drills in locations where it's not going to screw everybody over. And that was a big focus in our progression. So much so that it's a meme now. Like, you know, we're telling our people that are benched for this fight, sitting in Dornigal to bait drills, and we saying on other fights and stuff. It's a big part of the fight as a ranged player. You have to get the drill baits. Let me just make sure I'm actually recording real quick. I apologize. We're moving right now, and I'm down to one monitor, so I'm having to do a lot of alt tabbing during raid and stuff to read chat. Anyways, the next positioning, if you're not baiting, then you should be right here. For this bomb set, everybody is close on one side. I had the responsibility of looking out for making sure that the people that were going far had lots of hots on them, just to make sure that they are stable. So a lot of times I was moving my life bloom and my setting my iron bark and stuff like that on those players, and watching for when they get back in range so I can do a quick nature's swiftness regrowth on them. So here we're ramping for this next part. This one is the pull. So this one, actually no, is this the pull one? No, this one's the easy one. There's no suck. So if you are on the blue side here, these rockets hurt a lot. You can typically survive it if you're full health. On this set, I usually don't bark skin because it's not scary if I'm on the other side. If you're on blue side, you don't have to typically worry about it. You can get sniped, but this one's pretty easy, as long as people didn't bait the drill. Here, whenever you switch polarities, you want to make sure that you're standing on the correct side. It's easy to miss early in progression. So you can see right here, the other two poppers were, I believe it was iced and yogurt here. Yep, iced and yogurt. So you can see I put my life bloom on iced out, and yogurt, I believe I just put stuff on him as bark skin as well. to make sure that they're good to go. Again, I'm not getting any drills because I got the very first set, so I'm not having to worry about it. The next set of drills that will be viable to get picked. All right, now this one right here, this set of beams and stuff, this is the first really awkward one. This combines with a suck into the middle conveyor belt. Also, there's rockets going on, and depending on if people were really greedy with the drill baits, on blue side you could possibly worry about drills here. If somebody was really lazy, they should have dropped them over here. Speaking of which, when I get this drill set, I drop them over here, and then I just stay over here by myself by the door, by the wall. There's no need to get back here. You can just survive over there and then rejoin safely later. If you're on the red side here, my camera position isn't very good for this, but you have to really stutter step because you don't want to cross over the boss and knock blue people. And also right behind you is the stun, and then rockets are coming. So you want to cheat your way in a little bit more so that you're not the furthest out. Ideally, those are people like hunters and stuff that are using turtle there. On this one, if I'm nervous, I usually pop bark skin just to make sure that if I get hit, I'm okay. If you haven't procced your survival instincts or whatever, you're also fairly safe. So when you're fighting these sucks, I recommend quickly and repeatedly tapping W rather than long presses, very, very short presses. Just really stutter it. That's what's been more consistent for me. Okay, and then right here, we're stopping. Got a quick little breather. Just gently moving over next to this conveyor belt. This is going to be the first intermission, the first knock. So right here, there's the switch. So there's the tank mechanic. He runs out, and right here, there's polarity switch. So if you switch polarities, you need to go to the opposite side. On this first knock, the blue group is standing right here on about this corner piece, and you're going to get knocked to the conveyor belt by the boss's spawn point. You're not taking a gate on this one. And I always was very happy when I got blue on this one because it overlaps with my ramp, and it allowed me to keep going. You can channel, convoke, and other spells while you're flying in the air, and it doesn't delay all my timings. If you have red, I recommend pausing your ramp. Either you have to be really on top of it. This pull, I just happened to be really on top of my ramps, and I was not late at all. So I was actually able to squeeze in my ramp before taking the gate. But there have been a few pulls where I got global locked, and I tried to squeeze in one last like wild growth cast or something like that, and I got knocked, and then I didn't catch the gate. Also, a big note about the gate, I'll save you a lot of pain that I went through. I kept missing my gateway control shard, and so I kept cheating closer to the boss, getting further away from the gate so that I'd get knocked and I'd have more time. That was actually the opposite of what you need to do. You want to make sure that if you look at my gateway control shard right here, mine's tilde, and you'll see I step back a little bit to make sure that it's actually lit up. And there's weak ores that can do that for you and stuff. I just have never installed one, but you want to make sure that you're in range of the gateway to take it before the knock happens. Because what happens is there's server ticks, I think, and when you get knocked, you can push your gateway control shard after you get knocked. You want to push it after your body starts to move. If you push it before, what will happen is you'll gate, and then you'll immediately keep your momentum, and you'll get knocked off the edge. You have to wait until your body moves, and then you can use your gate. It's actually, if you're in range of the gate, it is extremely forgiving. You can actually get knocked like all the way across the platform, and it'll still function. So that was my big problem, is I was trying to cheat towards the boss out of range of the gate so I could get knocked further back into it. And that's the opposite. You need to stand in range to take the gate before the knock happens, and then as soon as your body moves, then you push your gateway control shard. So right here, we've got the polarity switch. I move over to red side. You can see I'm scooting back a little bit. I'm channeling my convoke. I'm watching this. This is very greedy, honestly. But I have had pulls where if I stand here, I get knocked and to the conveyor belt, and I just run my way up. So actually that might have been what happened in this. No, I got it. So I was able to finish my convoke and get flourish off, so my ramp was not delayed at all. But a lot of the pulls where I was failing my gateway, it knocked me back. If you can position it so you get knocked right here, and then you just work your way up the conveyor belt. I don't recommend that. Don't do it. But it can work if you fail your gateway control shard. So here, just fighting the pull, trying to get as many like wild growth casts off and stuff. Okay, and then here, don't rush back to position because there's a polarity shift. And so here you want to watch what you're getting and then be in that position by the time it finishes. Make sure you're not by any of the opposite colors. So here I start moving my way in. This one I happen to get pop 3. This one is spread out. I was honestly really bad about watching the people that go far here. But luckily it's right after the intermission, everybody's full health. So it's not the end of the world. This one's not super crazy. This one does overlap with a drill bait though. So all ranged should be positioning either towards the side or back on the conveyor belt if you don't have a pop assignment. But if you have a pop assignment, you want to be baiting drills towards the outside if you're on one of these pops. If you are, let's say the X pop here, if I was Gala, I would actually be baiting the drills here on this little edge. I don't want to block this walkway. If you stand here and you bait the drills, you can really create some problems for this next section, but you just kind of want to drop them in a way that people can either get through this way or this way. It's awkward. It stinks if you get the drills here. It's not fun, but just do what you can. And then I would be vocal about warning in comms. So here, pop and move to position. These are where the purple beams are bigger. So the safe section is on this, I guess we'll call it door side of this little section here. This one's pretty wide and forgiving, so you don't have to worry about this, but I was having a hard time at first seeing the borders of these beams, and then I forgot that I had reinstalled the game since I had followed. Quasi has a really good video on optimizing your graphics settings, and I highly recommend that you check it out. He just did another one too recently to update for this season. After I did that, my frame rate went way up, and it was so much easier to see the mechanics. So I highly recommend that you check out Quasi's video and follow the settings. You can also, if you join my community Discord, I've got the videos linked, as well as all my settings and the rest of my UI in my UI channel. So here's where I'm convoking, leading into this big movement, stampeding roar here. And you can see the drills do disappear by the time it's time to move, so it's not the end of the world if you had to drop them bad. Now right here, I'm baiting drills. This one, I think I got lucky I didn't get assigned it, but if I did get the drills here, what you want to do is drop them, and as soon as the third one drops, you need to quickly get back into position. I actually use Tiger's Dash, whatever you can to get back in position. It's extremely tight, and it's very easy to miss. So here, I don't get the drills, so I move back, watch the mines. Now right here, the safe zone is much, much smaller. It is in the same location on the pie slice. It is towards the, yeah, it's towards this edge right. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. It's right here. This one isn't quite as scary as the next one because this one, you're not getting sucked during it. Now, right here in this position, this is where if you are blue, you need to instantly move to the other side and get out of the way. Because if the tank that's pulling the boss across is red, he has to step through the middle here. And if you're standing here blocking him, you're going to create a lot of problems. So if you are blue here, you need to jet to the other side. If you're red, you can be a little slower with your movement. this actually overlaps with my tranquility. I happened to get it back a little bit sooner, so I popped it now because I was red, which worked out really well. If you're blue and you popped your tranquility and then suddenly you get blue, you just need to cancel it and move. I would recommend waiting to see what polarity you are, and if you're blue, run to the other side and then tranquility if you're doing this cooldown timing, and if you're red, you can go ahead and pop it right away.
Nice and easy movement.
So here we're moving across, we're watching watching for mines as we move across, just moving straight across. Here we're baiting drills. This drill bait is the one that's extremely tight. The previous one was pretty tight. This one is very strict with how you do it. So if you are on the blue side here, these are called the L drills. If you're on the blue side, you should bait right here, directly behind where the safe spot is going to be. And then the second one should go over here. And then the third one should be right here. And then you dip straight over back to the stack. You could, if you stutter very slowly and small, you could drop one here, here, and here, and then dip diagonally back this way. It's just that gets you a little closer to red, and it's a little awkward. So that one, because you barely have any time to step back into the safe zone before the beams start. If you're trying to bait over here, you're not going to make it back in time. Unless you're like a mage or something. If you are on the red side, same deal. You can bait anywhere in here. You should not bait here because that's where we're going to be moving. You can bait here. You can bait on the conveyor belt and then move back. I think I get this set here, or maybe I just got lucky. Yeah, I just didn't get any drills in this. Super lucky. So you can see here, right now is the beams. Very, very little time. And it's very important that the drills are not baited anywhere where we're going to have to fight, because this is a very, very tiny area and you really have to fight the suck here. So this is where it's very important to make sure that you're stutter stepping with very quick and short W movements. The pull is diagonally this way, so I like to turn my camera this way. You'll see in a second here. And fight it that direction, like that. It's not straight against the line, it's diagonally. Also, don't stop to cast wild growth there. Don't stop to cast anything. Just only use instant cast spells, and be very careful there. That's also a good moment for bark skin. That's where I popped it there. All right, here this is another slow movement, just like leading into the first intermission. We're standing in similar positions, but this one is different. It's opposite. Here, red is going to stand. Okay, right here. Yeah, I got lucky on this one. So here, blue is standing next to the gate. They're going to get knocked, and then they're going to take the gate, and the gate leads to this very far side of the conveyor belt on the side where the boss spawns. Red gets knocked. I'm sorry, I had that reversed. Blue gets, and I'll explain why I had that reversed in a second. Blue actually gets knocked. They take the gate, and they're short. They are actually on the door side of the conveyor belt, filling this whole area right here. Red stands up here, and there's two different ways that you can get knocked. If you're melee, you can get knocked. You're technically supposed to get knocked this way, and then you land by the boss wall side on the conveyor belt. I actually stopped doing that since I'm ranged, and I went for the safer play, and I stand right here, and I get knocked right here into the very middle of the room, and then I switch into bear form, just so I have a little bit more leeway with survivability, and then I survive on this middle conveyor belt. I'll show you how that works in a second. I'm red on this pull. Here's the launch. I get knocked towards the middle of the room in bear form and just step onto the conveyor belt. Easy peasy. Now here on the conveyor belt, something you have to watch for is there are these little bear trap mines. They're not the big scary mines that'll wipe the raid, but they do damage you a lot and knock you up. So as you're walking, you have to... How did I not hit that one? Did it hit somebody else right before me?
Just ran your right
Oh,
into
yeah.
it, just make sure
It hit Hylia there. I should have gotten hit by that, so that's not anything that I did right. That's just I got lucky.
you have
I did see this one right here. Oh, no, I didn't.
colors.
You just want to watch that. It's not the end of the world if you get hit by one, but it's a lot of extra damage in a difficult moment to heal. So here, same deal as exiting the first intermission. You want to be a little bit cautious and slow with your movements before the polarity shift. And then after the polarity shift, this is different positioning than any other time in the fight. All other times in the fights, we've been positioned with red on this side of the boss and blue on this side of the boss, with the short edges going perpendicular, kind of like a T to the long edge. This section, we're actually a little different. Red is on the boss spawn side of the room, and blue is on the door side of the room, and we are actually now long ways. And the reason for that is because when we're going into this next section with the void orbs, the purple orbs, if one person gets hit by the orbs, it's not quite a wipe, but the whole raid is going to take a ton of damage. If you get hit by 2 orbs, it is a wipe. So the reason we position like this is so that everybody is sideways to the bombs, which are the void orbs, which are coming from this side of the room and shooting across. And they can see it easier, instead of one group is needing to look behind them and dodge backwards. We don't want that. So now with this positioning, you do have to be very careful because the mines spawn right here on these marks, and it's very easy to hit. So this was a frustrating part of progression because we had to really train everybody to not tunnel here, because we're very close to a kill once you hit this spot. You see these mines that are spawning. I'm actually not showing it with the camera, but it's right there. It's right where the raid is. So the raid positions here on the conveyor belt side, just on that tiny little lip, and has to be very careful with their movements. Here I'm baiting the drills on the wall side since I'm red. If I was blue, I would be baiting it far on the other side. If you're ranged at this point in the fight, you can actually position very freely anywhere along this long way. So I'm positioned way out here. If I was blue, I'd be positioned way out here, like on that sideways conveyor belt, or even behind it, in front of it, just somewhere out of the way of the bombs. So here I did not get drills. This is actually a funny moment in the fight. So Hylia here actually crashed and disconnected and is standing here on the red side. So that's what we were talking about in comms. I was considering going and knocking him either off the edge this way or into the wire transfer stuff to kill him, so that it wouldn't cause problems, because if he had happened to get hit by a void orb, it could have wiped the raid, but somehow miraculously he was standing in a safe area and he never got hit by it. So we got lucky. Here's the drills. I move around to position to get ready for the void orbs. Okay, here's the void balls. And so this whole section, you can focus a little bit on healing, but the majority of your attention needs to be focused on dodging these balls, because if you get hit by a ball, it's the end. They also have this weird thing where, like, once they reach their destination, they stop for a second. So just give them some room. Oh, this is annoying. Okay. So right here, after we're done, I roar to get us across. I was late with that movement, so luckily Bear Form saved me there. Baiting drills. And then right here, we're just focusing on killing the boss. So with current gear, you should, if you have enough people alive, you should be able to kill it before that next set of void orbs. If you don't kill it before this next set of void orbs, what happens is after you do the mines and after you do the drills, before the suck happens and before the balls, you want to quickly blitz back over to this side. The lightning, the wire transfer will disappear, and it makes it much easier to dodge the void orbs. Otherwise, you're dodging them from like this distance, which is very scary. So I recommend moving back over to this side before that section. But hopefully you get to that part with more people alive and you can just kill it like we did. So that is it for Sprocketmonger. Just some quick last minute tips. Study the positioning of where you need to be at all moments in the fight, where red team is, where blue team is. Study the drill baits. That is the biggest thing for ranged, especially the overlaps with if you are a bomb popper. And then the knocks for the intermission. Study where you need to be for each roll and memorize which color is taking the gate and which color is just taking a natural knock. And I would recommend utilizing things like bear form, bark skin during those moments, so that if you get knocked and you land in the electrified area, you can still safely get to a conveyor belt. The big key is not getting knocked off the edge. One more little note with soul stones. This became frustrating. By the time you're watching this, you probably have the self-res, which is nice, but we noticed that healers that have a soul stone, if you get knocked off the edge or if you fall off the edge, it removes your soul stone and you can't use it. So if you are the soul stone healer, when a wipe is called or something, you need to die in some way that's on the platform and not get knocked off. Otherwise you're gonna have to like stealth back and it's annoying. So I think that's it. If you have any questions or if I missed anything, please hit me up in the comments, or you can check out my community Discord that's linked in the description, and I'll be happy to help in any way that I can. I hope you enjoy Sprocketmonger on Mythic. We'll see you later.